Okay, and welcome to EZsqueezes, the fast and easy way to make squeeze pages. So what we've got is I've got a new domain name here. You can see there's nothing on the domain at the moment apart from the CGI bin, so we want to put our squeeze page on that. So we just use the squeeze page creator and we just select the template we want, and we go through the through the wizard, and then basically when you've done it you end up with these two things here. So preview site lets you preview your site. So here's one that I made earlier, as they say. And then the other option, other than preview site, because that's what it's going to look like, is download the zip. So what we do is we download that zip. So let me just click on that and download that now. So it downloads the zip. Put it somewhere where you know where it is. If you want to use your desktop, do that. I prefer to use a folder myself rather than the desktop, because the desktop gets very cluttered otherwise. But anyway, so it's on our desktop, and now we need to get it onto the server. So all I've done is I've gone to the domain name, and I've gone to the domain name /cpanel, assuming that you've got cPanel hosting. If you've got some other sort of hosting other than cPanel, then you need to talk to your host as to how to do this. But most hosting is cPanel, so just go to your domain name /cpanel, and hopefully you'll see something like this. So now we could use the FTP program like FileZilla or anything like that, but I think this method using cPanel is easier. I'll probably show you the FTP FileZilla method in another video, but I think this method is easier. So we're just going to use cPanel. So you just go to cPanel, as I say, your domain name.com/cpanel, and we just go to File Manager down there. Okay, now make sure that you're in the public HTML folder here. Now www is the same thing, but you might as well just go to public HTML, because that's really what it is. And you can see in the folder at the moment there's nothing but the CGI bin, which is what we saw when we looked at the domain name. So what we want to do is we want to get the zip file that we just made into this. So we just click the upload button, and then we literally click choose file. We find the file that we downloaded, wherever you put it, on your desktop or in a folder. We just wait for this to finish, make sure it's really finished. Okay, it says complete, there we go. And then we just go back to the thing. Now we can see the zip file is right there in the public HTML folder, right there waiting for us. Now if we looked at the domain name, which I think is that one, yep, let me get that over there. If I do a refresh, we can actually see the zip file. Okay, but that's not what we want, is it? We want the site. So all we do is we click on the zip file, and then up here is a button called extract. So this is basically an unzipper. So we just extract it there, and it's going to basically put it where it is in this public HTML folder. So make sure you're in the public HTML folder before you do this. Make sure that zip file's in there. So we just click extract files. You can see it does all of its gubbins. And what it's done is it's created a folder called new site. Now that's just a subfolder, so we can rename that whatever we want. So if I want to call this squeeze pages or something, well, I'll call it easy squeeze pages, because that's what it is. Easy squeeze pages. Okay, that's going to rename that folder. Okay, I'm just going to copy and paste that name there so I get it correct. And now if I go to my domain name, there we are, / and the name of the folder we just created, then it comes up with this, and then when you go into there you can see that you've got all of your you've got your squeeze page there. Okay, so the only thing wrong with this is we don't particularly want it to be nested in subfolders like that. So the easiest thing to do is if we just go in there, we can just literally pick up the little blue icon and just drop it back into the public HTML thing there. So okay, that's one way we could do it. And the other thing we could do, which I'm going to show you instead, is if we go into the folder, what we can do is we can select all of those things. Oops, big button. Select all of those things, and we can, sorry, probably best to do it with that, and drag those into the root of the domain, which is public HTML. So what I've done is I've taken them out of the subfolder, okay, 6, 8, whatever it was, and I've put it into the root of the domain name public HTML. Now you can see that the file it had, which was index and images and CSS and all that, is in the root of the domain name. So now when I go back to my domain name, you see we get the squeeze page right in the root. Okay, so now when everyone goes to that domain name, that's the first page that they would see. Okay, now if that's what we want, that's great, and that's it, it's job done. Okay, so but let me just to be absolutely clear, you know, what we're doing here. What we did, we uploaded the zip with the upload button into the public HTML folder. Make sure it's in the public HTML folder. Then we just use the extract button to go into that public HTML folder. Okay, that did it. Now it created a folder called new site and another folder within that with the number of the of the actual website. Okay, so if you want a subfolder, you can just take that folder and just plop it into public HTML. Okay, and then rename it to be whatever you want. So I said EZsqueezes pages originally, didn't I? So let me call it that. Okay, so now because there's nothing in the new site folder, so we don't need that anymore, so I can actually get rid of that. Okay, and I could get rid of the zip zip file, which I should do, but I'll just keep it there for the minute. So you can see I've put the version in. I've got two versions basically. I've got a version in the root if that's where I want it, and then I've got a version in this subfolder here which I renamed to be EZsqueezes pages. So if I go to the root of the domain, that's what we had a second ago, and that there indeed there it is. And if I go to / the name of the folder, then there it is in the subfolder. So I can use either method. I can either use the subfolder or I can use the root. So the only difference between the two is that when you unzip the site, is do you copy the folder number into the root into public HTML and just rename it, in which case you're using the subfolder, or do you go inside the subfolder and use that select all button there and drag those into the public HTML. So I know that might seem a bit complicated, so I'm just going to say it one more time. Make sure you're in the public HTML folder. Use the upload button to upload the zip. When you've uploaded the zip, just select the zip and click on extract. It does its stuff. It creates a folder called new site. Go inside the new site folder, and if you want it in the root of the domain, you know, the first thing you see when you go to the domain name, go into that folder number there and then do select all and then copy them into, drag them into public HTML. If you want to use the subfolder, just copy the subfolder into the root of public HTML and then just rename it to be whatever you want. Okay. If you make a mistake, whatever, you can just delete the folders and unzip it again, and do it that way. So, once you're done with that, you don't need the new site button because you've already, moved it outside and done something with it. Okay, and ultimately we'd get rid of the zip as well. But at the moment, I've got a version in the root because I just dragged the files inside the folder into the root, and I've got a subfolder version because I just renamed the folder that I wanted. But now you can see, fully working site. It took like a second really, if I hadn't been speaking. You can just go to the domain name and or your subfolder, and you'll see your site there, and it's it's a working site. This button goes to PayPal, whatever, or if it's your opt-in form, it would be your opt-in form. Okay, so that's basically it. That's how easy it is to do it. I think it's a lot easier than FTPing. So that's it. So enjoy using EZsqueezes pages, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.